Mrs. Etengozi, you
Hello?
can start. Go ahead.
Yes. Yes, sir. Good morning, students. Good morning, students. Happy new month. Last week, we are able to cover the meaning of Montessori education. We also look at the history of Montessori education and the essential elements of Montessori education. And I gave you an assignment which I say you should submit, and I've gotten many people's assignments. And if you are here to submit your own, please do so. Very important. Very, very important. Do so is one of your assessments, continuous assessments. I define Montessori. Let me just grab through last week's work before we move to what we have today. I define Montessori education as a child-centric education method that includes child-oriented activities, classrooms with children of different age groups, and educators who inspires freedom among their learners. Montessori education as a child-centric education method that includes children-oriented activities, classrooms with children of different age groups, and educators who inspires freedom among their learners. And the essential elements of Montessori, which we discussed last week: 1, mixed age classroom; 2, students' choice of activity from within a prescribed range of options; 3, uninterrupted blocks of work time; 4, a discovery method; 5, specialized educational materials developed by Montessori, and the rest. Then I said submit this assignment, the meaning of Montessori education, and number 2, 5 essential elements of Montessori education. Submit to my email address in case you didn't get it. Right, last week, setengozicecilia@gmail.com. Setengozi as SETENGOZI. SETENGOZI. Cecilia, CECILIA. CECILIA @gmail.com. No mistake. Please submit. It's very important. So let's move to what we have today: Montessori education theory. Montessori education theory. Montessori education theory. Before we go to explanation of that, let's first of all look at the Montessori environment. The environment of Montessori. The Montessori environment is a spacious. The Montessori environment is a spacious, open, tidy, pleasing in appearance, simple, and rare place. Is a spacious, a place that is meant for Montessori education must be spacious, must be tidy, must be pleasing in appearance, must be simple at looking, and it must have great place. That is, it must have a structure. It's not just an online education. It must have a structure where each element exists for a reason in order to help in the development of the child. The environment is proportional to children's height and size. The environment of Montessori is proportional to children's height and size, and it has low shelves and tables and chairs of different sizes. It has a table, it has shelves, it has chairs. All these things are proportional to the size and the height of the children, which enables the children to sit individually or in a group. So the chairs are proportional to the height and the size of the children. The classroom is divided into 10 areas. The classroom of Montessori is divided into 10 areas where related materials are exposed on the shelves, allowing great freedom of movement. It is divided into teams. The materials they make use of are arranged, and it allows the learners to freely move, make use of them in the classroom. Children can work in groups or individual, respecting their own style and rhyme. In the environment of Montessori, children can work in group and they can also work individually. They can sit on their own and work, or sometimes they can be grouped and they work. And everyone learns on their own style. Each child uses the materials he chose by taking it from the shelf and putting it back on its place so that others can make use of it. So anytime the child wants any material, he is free to go to the shelf and collect the material and make use of it and return it neatly that any other child can equally make use of it. That means the learners in Montessori education are being trained to be orderly. That is the environment of Montessori. They are being trained to be orderly by arranging their materials, teaching them to take the steps of the teachers, arranging it back the same way the teachers did. The environment of Montessori promotes the child's independence in the exploring and learning process. Montessori promotes the child's independence in exploring and learning process. A child can learn individually, equally in a group. By the time the child sat down on his or her own chair and table, looking at the material, that exploring the material, learning, it develops independence, confidence in the life of that learner. That is what Montessori can do, and Montessori environment does in the life of learner. It promotes the child's independence in exploring and learning process. Freedom and self-discipline makes possible that each child finds activities that respond to their evolutionary needs. They have the freedom to move, take any materials that they need, the one that is their interest. They have the freedom. They have the freedom to go into any activities that can promote their learning. Montessori classroom gathered children in different ages. We are discussing the Montessori environment. Montessori classroom gathered children in 3 different ages. We have younger than 3 years old, that is from birth to 3 years. from birth to 3 years, then from 3 years to 6 years old, from 6 years old to 9 years old, from 9 years old to 13 years old. So Montessori classroom gathers children in different ages. I've explained it last week. We have a child that is 1 year will be in the same class with a child that is 3 years. A child that is 6 years is in the same class with a child that is from 3 years on. A child that is in 13 years old is with a child that is 9 years old. That is a Montessori environment. That is why I say you check Nigerian schools whether they are practicing Montessori education. This mixed age classrooms favors cooperation. It favors cooperation, desire to learn, mutual respect, and acquisition of deep knowledge in the process of teaching others. Because they are mixed age, the older ones teach the young ones, and the young ones, they respect the older ones. This helps what? Acquisition of deep knowledge in the process of teaching others. As the older ones are teaching the younger ones, they are even getting more. You notice you're a teacher, notice that when you are teaching something, even before you start teaching it, when you finish teaching, you notice that you even know more than before you started teaching. So as you are teaching, you are discovering more. You are discovering more. That is Montessori education. That is Montessori environment. Then I say we have Montessori theory, Montessori education theory. Dr. Maria Montessori theory about child's development. Dr. Maria Montessori theory. We know that Dr. Maria Montessori was the one that developed Montessori education. So Maria Montessori observed that the child goes from infancy to adulthood. The child moves from infancy to adulthood through 4 evolutionary periods. Moves from infant to adulthood through 4 evolutionary periods, which he called planes of development. Planes of development. Planes of development. So let's go into this Maria Montessori education theory, which he divided the evolutionary period of a child development into 4 planes of development. Number 1, the first plane of development starts from birth to 6 years old. The first plane of development developed by Dr. Maria Montessori starts from birth to 6 years old. Here the child is seen as having an abundant mind. Abundant mind, A-B-O-R-B-E-N-T, abundant mind. What is the meaning of abundant mind? Abundant mind refers to the mind's capacity to take in information. It refers to the mind's capacity. It refers to the mind's capacity to take in information and sensation from the world that surrounds it. Abundant mind refers to the mind's capacity to take in information and sensation from the world that surrounds it. I hope that is taken. I said the first plane of development starts from birth to 6 years old. And he called this plane of development above birth mind, which takes and absorbs every aspect, good and bad. That means at this level, the child it takes and absorbs everything that surrounds him. That means the child does not know his right from the left. So whatsoever that comes across to the child will accept, whether good, whether bad, that is coming from the environment where the child finds himself, the child takes. The language the child meets, that is the language the child picks up with. The culture, what is culture? The way of life of group of people, the culture where the child finds himself, that is the culture the child will live with. That is the culture the child grow with. The way of life, the type of feeding, the language, the greeting, the dressing, and so on. They are all elements of culture. Any type that the child finds himself, that is what the child takes about bent mind. Then the second plane of development, according to Dr. Harriet Montessori, starts from 6 to 12 years old. Start from 6 to 12 years old. And he called this stage a rational mind. The first one, he called it what? Abundant mind. The second one, he called it what? A rational mind. Rational mind. Rational mind means to think on something before accepting an opinion on that particular thing. It means to think on something before accepting an opinion on that particular thing. It means seeking for logical way to analyze something. It means seeking for logical way to analyze something. It also means it means involving and understanding a situation and eliminating the impossible from the list of possible explanations. So now the child can be able to think rational and know the one to take and the one to throw away. Here the child possesses a rational mind to explore the world with imagination and abstract thinking. The child can now think and know the ones to take and ones to throw away. The third plane of development is from 12 to 18 years old. 12 to 18 years old. 12 to 18 years old. Here he referred this stage as humanistic mind. Humanistic mind. He refers this as humanistic mind. This is a perspective that emphasizes looking at the whole individual. This is a perspective that emphasizes looking at the whole individual and stresses concepts such as free will, self-efficacy, and self-actualization. Humanistic mind, it is based on people thinking and reasoning on ways to be fulfilled. on ways to be fulfilled. Humanistic minds. Here the child is now in his or her teenage. The child is in his or her teenage. The teenager has a humanistic mind which desires to understand humanity and to make contribution to the society where he finds himself. So here the learner has known the left and the right and now thinking towards to make contribution to be productive to the society where he finds himself. And the last plane of development, is from 18 years to 24 years old. 18 to 24 years old. Now the child is no more child, but it's now what? It's now adult. From 18, they are adults. Any crime committed, the person will go to prison. So once a child moves to 18, is now adult. So the child is no longer adult, but it is no longer a child, but is now an adult. The adult explores the world with a specialist mind. Now the child has specialized. No more this person said, okay, let me do everything you have specialized, you are supposed to have known. So any offense, the child will face the penalty. The child has this specialized mind. He can now find things by himself, on himself. So far we have discussed the Montessori theory, which is divided into 4 planes: absorbent mind, rational mind, humanistic mind, and specialist mind. I hope that is taken. Education practices. Sorry.
Mrs. Etengozi, please unmute yourself.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Continue. Continue, we can hear you. Yes.
Education practices on Montessori. Education practices on Montessori. 1, infant and toddler program. 2, preschool and kindergarten. Preschool and kindergarten. Preschool and kindergarten. 3, elementary classroom. Elementary classroom. 4, middle and high schools. These are the education practices. Number 1, infant and toddler program. The classroom of infant and toddler program is divided into 3. It's divided into 3. 1 is NEST, N-E-S-T, Italian language, NEST, N-E-S-T. That means is for children between 2 months and 14 months. Children between 2 months and 14 months. That is 1 year, 2 months. These are the small children. These are the small children. Mostly the parents keep these children in school to go and do their normal business. It allows them to go to their offices and do their normal business. Then two, young child community. Under infant and toddler, I say have 3 classes. Next, 2, young child community. Young child community. These are children between 1 year and 3 years. 1 year and 3 years. These are bigger children. These are bigger children. In their classroom, the classroom of this young child community is filled with materials and activities that develop them independently. They have the materials and carry out activities that develop the children independently, especially in the area of toileting. The children can easily learn to move to the toilet and clean themselves. They are being trained. These are the activities that they do there. It trains them to know how to go to the toilet, clean up themselves without anybody following them. So they have the materials and activities that develop them independently at this level, 1 to 3 years. So all these materials help them to develop and move. And then number 3, the 3rd class in the infant and toddler program, parent infant classes. Parent infant classes. In this classroom, parents are given the privilege to participate actively with their children. The parents of these children are given freedom, privilege to participate actively in the classroom. What do they do there? They sing, they dance, they jump with their children in the classroom. They jump. Not like what we have now. They don't even allow parents, you don't even know the class of your children. At the gate, they have collected everything from you. Don't even know how class of where your children, how the class looks like. Because they know it's not well, nice. But in Montessori, the parents have been allowed, given the privilege to come and dance with their children, play with the children. Then we move to the next class program, which is preschool and kindergarten. We are through with infant and toddlers program. Number 2 is preschool and kindergarten. Preschool and kindergarten. That is, you can call it children house. Montessori established the first school and call it children house. That is preschool and kindergarten. This is a classroom of children from 3 years to 6 years old. 3 years to 6 years old. She also called this level primary. She also called it primary school, primary. The number of children in the class is between 20 and 30 with mixed age groups and trained teachers and assistants. So we have trained teachers and assistants in the same class, and the number of children there is between 20 and 30. And the children are with mixed ages. When I say mixed ages, ranging from 1 to 3 age, like 1 year to 3 years and same class, 3 to 6 years and same class, 6 to 9 years, and like that. That is mixed age groups. The classroom is decorated and chairs and tables of their sizes. The shelves are arranged with materials of learning. Activities in the class is initially initiated by the teacher. The activities in the class is initially initiated by the teacher, not that the teacher is standing in the front of the classroom teaching. The teacher will just initiate the activities of the day, and then the students or the pupils carry on the activities which they have learned by the teacher. The teacher's function or the role in the classroom is to guide the child towards the accomplishment of the activity, to master the activity in the class. So the children have their materials and they explore the materials following what the teacher has initiated. The materials you find in the classroom of this age are mathematics, mathematical materials, English materials, music, arts, cultural activities, and etc. Then we move to elementary classroom. Elementary classroom. This involves mixed age groups of 6 to 9 and 9 to 12 years old. This involves mixed age groups of 6 to 9 and 9 to 12 years old children. The children you find in primary and elementary classroom are mixed age groups of 6 to 9 and 9 to 12. That means you have two classes there. You have two classes in elementary classroom. One is from 6 to 9 years old, and the next one is 9 to 12 years old children. The educator, just like in the preschool and the kindergarten, the educator presents the lesson in a practical way, and the children try to sort out the work independently. Here they teach with material, not like traditional schools that we have mostly in Nigeria. They must teach with material, instructional material. Children learn faster when they see the material. So the educator, which is the teacher, presents the lesson in a practical way. Is teaching and showing them what is teaching. The children also have the materials on their table. You can watch television and see them. The teacher have the material. Also, the students, the pupils have the materials on their table. As the teacher is teaching and practicalizing it, the students or the pupils are also there doing the same thing. That is activity-based curriculum. Activity-based curriculum. You still move to curriculum and activity-based. Learn by doing. That is what Montessori curriculum implies. Learning by doing. As the teacher is teaching, the students are copying. They are learning, doing the same thing on their own, individually. This is the best method of teaching. Teaching at this level, the best method of teaching at this level, practicing what you are teaching. So the teacher will present it practically and then let the students to accomplish what he has taught them. The lessons they offer here includes language, mathematics, history, biology, chemistry, and etc. So the students learn by discovery. And the last is the middle and high schools. Middle and high schools, Montessori education did not extend to teachers learning schools. Did not extend to teachers learning schools for adults, but we have many other training schools developed by other schools who followed Montessori education method. Montessori did not extend to middle and high schools, but the people under Montessori developed middle and high school. So this middle and high school states that in the difficult time of learning, it is good to leave the house environment and move to a quiet environment to acquire more knowledge. In the midst of difficult time, the learner, it is good for the learner to leave home environment and move to a quiet environment to acquire more knowledge. And that is what we can see in the middle and high school. But Montessori did not extend by herself middle and high school, but the people that he taught extended to that middle and high school. That is where we are going to be stopping today. I hope we have learned much today. I've been able to look at the Montessori environment. We also look at the theories, Montessori theory, and then the practices, educational practices on Montessori. If you have any question, send your question to setengosicecilia@gmail.com. Please, if you have not submitted my assignment, do so. It is very important. God bless you.